25 years ago today, August 8th, you've spent the last decade wandering a barren desert bereft of metal and guitar solos, instead inhabited by grunge and new metal. You hear a sound, it's gently drawing you in, and you walk towards it and you think, this must be a mirage, an hallucination. I'm not thinking straight. But as you get closer and closer, eventually you get to it and you go, it's real. Halford's back and he's packing a fucking Uzi. Resurrection's 25 years old. Wow. I love this album. I love it. I love what it stands for, represents in my life. And my little spiel there is no word of a lie, really. It's a bit exaggerated. I'm guessing there's a lot of good power metal at that time. And so on if you go into the European market. But yeah, I remember when this album came out at that time in HMV, they had CD listening stations. Yes, that's what it was like. And you could unwrap a CD and put it on. I knew Halford had an album coming out. I went to check it out. And, you know, he'd had a bit of a patchy track record since leaving Priest, didn't he, after the Fight album. So I put it on and I was like, yeah, I'm buying this. And it was better. When I got it home, it was actually better than, you know, I thought it would be. And listening to it in the last few days, it's as good or better than it's ever been for me. This is the best album Judas Priest never made. So let's dive in. So basically, at this point in his career, Rob Halford, he's left Judas Priest, he's done the first Fight album, which I think is really good. It doesn't sell that great. He does a second one. There's no interest in band splits. So then he does that weird thing, Two Voyeurs. And then he arrives at the decision, like a lot of artists did who tried to compete with the 90s, they realise that their audience is out there. It's unlikely they're going to get new audience members, but if they're to get anyone, they have to do what they're known for best. And Resurrection is that. It's perfect sort of concoction of you know, what's gone on with metal, and particularly in Halford's style of metal in the previous, you know, 30 years. And it's kind of a little potpourri of everything Halford's done, but it's really consistent. He brought in Roy Z as producer and got himself a crack squad in the band. They all play very well. You've got Patrick Latwin and Mike Chalziak, is it, on guitar, who do a sterling job. A guy called Ray Rindeau on bass, and Bobby Giles and Beck on drums. I think he played with Riot, really good. Roy Z does some extra guitar. Bruce Dickinson makes an appearance. The sound of this album it's just quite raw and open but big. The only criticism I have of it really is sometimes I think the guitar performances, the riffing, and some of the solos could be a bit tighter. I might have benefited if one guitarist just did all the riffage, but that's a minor thing. I said before, it's the best album Judas Priest never made. I think it's better than Angel Retribution, Nostradamus, Redeemer of Souls. I do. Only Firepower best this. Obviously it's much better than Jugulator or Demolition. Let's get into the tracks. It opens with Resurrection. I should just say Rob Halford's co-writing with all his different bandmates on this. What an opening track. As I said before, it starts off with his keyboard. Resurrection. And the riffing comes in. And then fucking Rob just lets rip. Like, it's fucking incredible. And the lyrics are great. It's all about, you know, he's left Priest and coming back to metal. What have I done? He's asking for, you know, redemption. Fantastic. For him it's 58. And that's really typical of the album. If you take off the intro, the actual music for this is really short and to the point. The whole album really benefits from that. There's only one epic track. Next up's Made in Hell. This is actually co-written with his manager John Baxter. Bizarre. 4 minutes 12. This is a great one. Really funny lyrics on this about the Bullring in Birmingham. If you know the Birmingham area, I actually went to the Bullring when I was a kid because I've got relatives in the Midlands, and it was a weird old place, the original Bullring shopping centre. And then you've just got him talking about the history of metal and going to Mothers to Bang His Head. It's like a prequel to what's the track off Deal with the Devil, you know, off the Angel Retribution on. Brilliant. Really good harmony guitars on this. Like what they've done, you know. Then you got Locked and Loaded. It's only 3 minutes 18, and it's just so simple. This, it comes straight in. It's got a simple, chunky riff. Really nice pre-chorus, and then a catchy chorus. Really like it. Then you got a slightly more commercial track, Nightfall. When I was listening to this in recent days, I was just like, oh, this is just the right track at the right time. You've had 3 more bloodthirsty tracks. This is still heavy, but it's got a bit more melody. So I really love this track. Again, 3 minutes 41. So the next track's the only epic on the album, the only ballad, it's Silent Screams. Again, this was always a track I wasn't as keen on for many years, but listening to it recently, it's a really good, great track. Really atmospheric verses, epic chorus, and then you've got this double time sort of middle section, and then it breaks down, back in to the sort of epic chorus. There's also a cool sort of alternative verse, the second pass. Really good, quite a smart track. Like I say, still not my favourite on the album, but good. Then you got The One You Love to Hate. This has got a crunching sort of drop D riff. 3 minutes 11. He duets with Bruce Dickinson on this, and you can hear Bruce is having a great time. The vocals sound great together. Great. So the next track, again, this is a track that took a while for me to get into. It used to be a track where I was like, a bit of a dip here, but it's really good. It's Cyber World. It's got a cool staccato riff. The verse is great. He's just going about computers and shit. And then the chorus, Cyber World, really good. Really like it. And then you've got one of the album's top tracks, one of the very best tracks. This track's the perfect blend of melody and muscle, and it's slowed down. 4 minutes 51, so a bit longer, stretching it out a bit more. Really good. It slings at a lower register, and then a top chorus. On this album, Rob is starting to realise his age. He's 49, 48 when he does this. So he's sometimes holding back from the screams, and sometimes he's tracking screams in harm or hidden in the mix. So it's sort of clear, with the title track aside, that he's sort of taking stock of where he's at. And this is a transition album with his vocal style, really, into how he'll sing with Judas Priest later on. So yeah, it's got a really good, after the solo, it's got a really good kind of pre-last chorus, the variate things. The next track's probably the weakest track, but I do like it. It's a Bob Halligan Jr. track. So Bob Halligan Jr. is an interesting character. He's a songwriter that's provided tracks with Judas Priest, and Rob's got this. It's called Twist. Quite unusual lyrics, funny timing, but it is good. 408, sorry. Listening, like I say, recently, it's probably the least favourite track. I do like it. Next one's a melodic rocker. In actual fact, the Twist, Temptation, and the next track there, more sort of point of entry, Defenders, commercially type tracks, but with heavier riffing. But Temptation's really good. Quite a simple verse. And then a really epic chorus, and he's done some great high harmonies, Rob, and it's got a really epic ending with nice and cool synths. Then you got Drive. I'd say this used to be the sort of weakest track for me. It's cheesy, but it's really good. It's got a really cool, I think it might be a low C riff. John Five co-writes this. Obviously John Five did some writing on the Voyeur, the 2 album, Voyeurs. 4 minutes 30, really catchy chorus. So I like this. And then again, the next track, Saviour. This used to be a track where I was like, the finish a little duffer here, but it is good. It's got a pretty simple verse. I'd say the verse doesn't let it down, but it's not great. But the chorus is really good, really epic. And it's only 2 minutes 57. So this is easily, sorry, scratching my head, a 9 out of 10 for me. I've no problem rewarding it 9 out of 10. I think it's the best firepower aside, the best traditional heavy metal album of the 21st century, or something like that. Saxon's Lionheart, a very good one. Obviously, Firepower. I think it shows you the benefit of bringing in fresh people. The things with Priest, you got KK Glenn, you got a certain thing, with him getting his younger band in. It's invigorated him. What I never really understood with this Halford after this is he did the album Crucible, and I tried to like it, I tried to get into it, but it really doesn't even come close. It feels more like a kind of post-fight album. It feels like it's kind of trying to compete more with the Machine Head Pantera thing, which felt weird. It's like, why not just do one like this? There was some good tracks on it. It had 15 songs. It was very long. It wasn't concise. This album, actually, there is a 2006 version that has the tracks Sad Wings, Fetish, Godbringer of Death and Hell's Last Survivor. Now Sad Wings and Hell's Last Survivor are actually on the Live Insurrection album. We'll come to that. They're okay, but I wouldn't want 16 tracks on an album. As a Japanese edition had Sad Wings and Hell's Last Survivor. So the Live Insurrection album is a really good live album. I'm not massive on live albums, but it's got great versions of his new songs, but they do really good versions of Priest songs. He does a fantastic ad-lib at the end of Metal Gods on it. The band play out of their skins, and there's a great version of Stay in Class, so I strongly recommend you check that out. I wish I'd seen them on this tour. Unfortunately, when they played Newcastle with Iron Maiden on the Brave New World tour, they didn't play. It was someone else. They played Birmingham, so I wish we'd gone to Birmingham. But anyway, apparently Halford was great live. He did Priest classics. Interesting, at that time, Iron Maiden released Brave New World, and it's Halford and Iron Maiden showing really where to go. Look, you need to do your thing. You need to get back in your lane and do what you love. Not that Iron Maiden veered from what they did, but obviously the Blaze singing. And this is what happened. AC/DC came back later, and the Scorpions got back in their lane with Unbreakable. What are they called? Sorry. Obviously Priest got Halford, but I've just said that. Saxon started to, get popular again, and just, although metal, it never achieved the commercial level it was of the early 80s, it kind of, the bands I loved, had healthy touring careers and still do. What else is there to say about this? I had something else. I've mentioned in the tracks of production. It's 48 minutes and 32 seconds, so, it's just on that edge of, just being long enough. I just feel pure joy when I listen to the song. I feel pure joy listening to it the other day, because I was just like, it's still fucking got it. Great. Okay, so 25 years old today, the metal god came back and gave us Resurrection, and made fucking everyone happy again. Brilliant. Okay, so remember to share and subscribe, and I'll see you again. Thanks very much.